Welcome, mere mortalites, to something a little bit new, a little bit different. I'm going to be talking a hell of a lot more about fitness. Here at the Mere Mortals, we've got quite an array of conversations. We do the podcasts, we do book reviews, we of course do the conversations, and we do little bits and bobs here and there. And if you've been around with us since the very beginning, you would have seen that we did a lot of fitness challenges as well. So a little bit of a variety of things that we were doing. And something that I want to start doing a lot more now. We'll get into the why of it all and everything, but I want to be putting together training fitness into one more specific, quite targeted, quite narrow banded podcast and content piece, so that others can probably benefit, and we'll see how that pertains. So, why talk about fitness? We talk about it on the podcast quite a bit, and I thought it might give you a bit of an insight into at least me personally as setting the foundations. And I'm calling this very beginning, episode 1, the foundations for the Mere Mortals Fitness podcast. And look, for myself, I started training when I was 16. So that was very much so in swimming. I did play a lot of other sports, you name it, tennis, soccer, basketball. Again, these are no high level, expert master, country level type of ability. This was school, state even in some regards. I think swimming was really the best place for me. But I ended up doing that for around about 5 years. So really, I was training here and there for 5 years. It really changed when I turned 21. So that was during my university years. A very good friend of mine, second year of university, kind of invited me to come along, tag along to a gym session with him and a couple of friends, which I indeed go ahead and do. Now, I had trained at the gym here and there, but that is what really transformed me. And it didn't take until around 23, 24 years of age for me to really put it on rails, to really track what I was doing, putting in quite persistent effort to get to outcomes. And of course, we'll talk about all that value and the good stuff that I've been able to find from all of that through these conversations. Now, myself at 31 years old, so I've effectively been working out at least 10 years solidly. So that's sort of information I'm trying to expose. Plus, another 5 years to boot on, very novice style work. And there's the same thing with Karen. He's also probably tracked information longer than I have, and whether he will make an appearance in these fitness style conversations, we shall see. But at the very least, you've got decades worth of fitness experience that we're trying to converse about. So, why specifically as well this sort of series? So, really, it was more so a chance for me to expand on what I normally talk about in the main Mere Mortals podcast. So, again, I absolutely wish and hope that for people who are listening to this, go and pay attention to the Mere Mortals podcast or book reviews if that's your thing, or the Valley for Valley channel if that's what you want to be listening to, what Karen's producing, and whatever it is that we're doing or producing when you're listening to this particular piece of content. But this is targeted for me to share information on something that both myself and Karen know very, very well, right? There's a lot of tacit knowledge within us both that we know about, and that's what we want to really focus on. So that's an example. And really, fitness is quite a large expanse. So you'll see throughout this conversation, the detail that I start articulating, it's going to be pretty fun. So there's that aspect. Two, look, I've had some fairly serious experience when it comes into bodybuilding, powerlifting, crossfitting, swimming, sports. Again, reading, not a master of it. But what I'm saying is it's a mere mortal who is curious, and I've really pushed the boundary on a lot of these items, at least for me personally, over the years. So this is going to be a podcast where it's going to be a show and tell. So I'm going to be using my own training as a leverage to talk through the phases that I'm doing, whether that's running or powerlifting, how I'm training, and we're going right down into the minutia. So into how will the series actually look. It's going to be much shorter than the existing episodes that you see out there of the Mere Mortals podcast. There's not going to be 50, 60-minute sessions. There's probably be 10, 20, maybe pushing it to 30 minutes. We shall see. I'll be breaking it down into phases, so I will articulate this better or more expensively in my annual goals. But at least for fitness, for me, just for those who might not be aware, I usually truncate things down to annual goals, which then go down to monthly goals, and then I sort of progress towards them in task-based form. What I'll be looking at doing here is building up phases over the year the first phase, at least as we're talking through here for the foundation, is going to be the running phase. And so I'll be going through and demonstrating, cool, what does that running phase look like? What are my outcomes? And then the much more niche weekly episodes will kind of investigate and showcase the training with the specificity of whatever phase that I'm targeting, but also some hidden tips, bonuses, and at least other things that you'll find around that. To give you an example of where some of the sources of I guess podcasts or content pieces out there that I see that I'm either motivated by or I'm inspired by are people like Nick Blair's series on running and bodybuilding. That's over on YouTube mainly, although he's producing some podcasts at the moment. Other people like Fergus Crawley, right? There's the almost what you would call the hybrid athletes. Now, I wouldn't call myself that, not at all, but it's just more of these are two individuals, and there's definitely more examples of people who essentially are showing you through an entire phase, 12-week phase. Now, those are high quality, highly edited, shows you training. There might be some videos and things that I show around my training, but it'll be towards the much more raw, much more just recorded from the phone, right? I don't have someone who's going to be following me along and tracking all of my workouts. That's not the case. Is it maybe something in the future? Who knows? It's not something in my mind. What I want to be doing, so specifically around some of the examples, right? So we talked about running, what I will be looking at doing, beyond this, setting the foundations phase. So for phase is going to go, cool, here's where I'm anchoring the conversation around for the next 12 weeks. I'm going to be looking into running, right? That's going to be my anchored conversation around why am I doing that? What are the outcomes? What are the steps that I'm taking? What are the decisions and choices that I'm going to be moving away from my rest of my training so I can be doing that? And look, perhaps there might be conversations with other people. Perhaps I'm doing the running phase. Maybe I'll look towards having a conversation with someone specifically in the running space. So that might be a particular thing. With a small call out on particular workouts, notes, improvements, and learning points. Who's going to be benefiting from this particular series? So look, me, I already benefit from this already in training and my own personal benefits. Why? So as we get through it and setting here the foundations, I track my workouts and individual movements and fitness down to the daily, down to the line item on Excel if you want to be specific. You should do it through an app. You should do it on paper. It's just what's working on right now. And so I benefit by already putting down what I'm going to do in training. And so it's just really a chance for me to go ahead and expose it. Keeps me on track, keeps you humble, keeps you as an idea of, hey, if I've put this down and this is what I've done and I either failed it or didn't do it or did it correctly, just helps you to track to what exactly you're actually going to go ahead and doing. At least for me, it helps. And perhaps it's going to help out others out there as well, either by motivating someone to go and doing it or seeing something being done and taking it up for instance or modifying it for your own use. Go ahead. So I'll be sharing the week's trainings as well on the Mere Mortals page. So on the actual website, you can go ahead and go in and see that. I trialed it out for around 2 months just to get myself in anticipation of how to share it, if people are utilizing it. I think I've put a link in there as well if you want to actually get some personalized support or go directly. Do it. I don't know. I don't know if that'll work out or not, but it's just another way for people to consume some of the pieces that I'm going to be putting out there, right? So, or following along, literally, or alternatively, reaching out for some specific support around that. Yes, so that's really the foundation of what these fitness content pieces or streams to come. How long will it go for? Unknown. At least we know that the first phase is going to be the running phase, and I'll commit myself to at least tracking through those first 12 weeks. If I really enjoy it, awesome, I'll keep on doing it. If I find there's people with value from it and they want to just shift certain things, amazing, tell me. Specifically, my ask around these all is, if you want to support the podcast, whether it's the Mere Mortals podcast or the book reviews or this new stream, we operate in the value for value space. So that's time, talent, and treasure. You want to send through some treasure. That could be a boostergram. Again, you can send through a comment directly and, be leveraging that platform around things that maybe we want to shift. Or you can send an email, or you can get in contact through those methods on the website, or you can send through a message, whether it's on YouTube or the other platforms. Doesn't matter. Just do it. Leave a comment. So there's that. Sharing with other people who might find this into the future exciting, interesting, a bit of a learning point. Again, this is not looking to be a Andrew Huberman, Nick Bear expertise type podcast, disseminating down all of the greatest amount of information into the best analysis possible. It's a mere mortal talking about his fitness, his workouts, trying to gather the insights from around what I've found in the decades of training and perhaps passing that along to you, but maybe a much more raw and relatable way of presenting some of the fitness and training that I do that maybe helps out others. So really, for now, I'm going to leave it at that. Be on the lookout for the rest of the episodes as they start to come around. As I said, the first one off the rank is going to be the 12 weeks of running, and then we'll get into the details for sure. So for now, the Immortalites, let's get into it. One out.